This is insane. Stranger Things did not end the way most people think it did, not even close. What looked like closure was actually containment. What felt like safety was compromise. And what appeared to be a clean ending was built on unfinished decisions, erased scenes, and truths that were never meant to surface this early. Kids trapped inside Vecna's mind, deaths that almost happened, and others that were quietly removed. Entire character arcs rewritten after filming had already begun, the Duffer Brothers openly admitting they held back. Actors who know the real ending but are contractually forbidden from saying it. And buried across all of this is one detail almost everyone missed. Miss it, and the finale doesn't fully make sense. See it, and the entire ending changes. Netflix quietly released a bonus episode tied to Stranger Things Season 5. On the surface, it looks like a harmless behind-the-scenes documentary, but within minutes, it becomes something far more dangerous, a minefield of revelations, half-truths, editorial omissions, and moments that left fans confused, angry, or genuinely disturbed. This breakdown unpacks everything: the new information, the things that were never meant to be seen, and the explanations behind theories that spiraled completely out of control online. Some reveals are fascinating, others are deeply uncomfortable, and a few feel like disasters barely held together by editing. One theory dominates the discussion: the so-called conformity gate theory. It consumed online spaces for weeks. Some viewers embraced it instantly, others rejected it outright. The bonus episode finally explains why it exploded and why it became such a mess. The timeline here isn't perfectly linear because the episode itself isn't, but every moment connects to a larger pattern. And the most upsetting revelation for a massive portion of the audience happens immediately. The Duffer Brothers openly admit that production on episode 1 began without a finalized script for the series finale. Let that sink in. Filming started before they truly knew how the story would end. They knew Eleven's arc would require her to leave in some form, but beyond that, nothing was locked. Inside the writer's room, debates raged. Should Eleven die? Should she sacrifice herself? Should the ending remain deliberately ambiguous? One option involved a final emotional moment with Hopper that would quietly signal survival without confirming it. That debate never fully stopped, not even after the finale aired. Later interviews strongly suggest the creators were still leaning toward Eleven surviving while the finale was being written. The documentary only shows fragments of these discussions. It's heavily edited. Hours, possibly days of argument and uncertainty are missing. The episode itself runs just over 2 hours. That means enormous portions of creative conflict were cut, including one crucial fact: most of the finale script did not exist for a significant portion of production. For much of filming, they were operating without a concrete ending. For some viewers, this was shocking. For others, it was familiar. In Hollywood, this happens more often than people realize. Major franchises shoot without finalized third acts all the time. Actors from massive films have admitted they received pages the morning of filming. Stranger Things may be a television series, but it operates on the scale of blockbuster cinema. Still, the downside is obvious. When the ending isn't locked, earlier episodes drift, and that's exactly what many viewers felt. Volume 1 and much of Volume 2 feel tonally disconnected from the finale, and that wasn't accidental. Most of the final episode was written after the writer's strike, creating a clear creative divide. Entire subplots were deleted, emotional beats were removed, transitions were altered or abandoned entirely. The documentary confirms this quietly. Many moments simply didn't survive the final edit. Some scenes contradicted the evolving ending, others no longer fit. One deeply unsettling Easter egg confirms how fragile the entire series structure really was. The writers revealed that the very first scene ever written for Stranger Things was the Dungeons & Dragons basement scene from Season 1. Everything grew outward from that table. The documentary also shows footage from the writer's room that sparked immediate backlash. Computer screens with tabs referencing Reddit, others that appeared to reference AI tools. Nothing is confirmed, but the implication alone ignited outrage. Taken together, the bonus episode doesn't just explain how Season 5 was made, it exposes how unstable the ending was. Ambiguity wasn't an accident, it was a solution. A way to leave doors open, a way to preserve future possibilities, a way to avoid locking the story into a single irreversible conclusion. They even admitted they were browsing Stranger Things subreddit theories while writing the finale. One of the biggest cuts was a full Mind Flayer battle involving Will, completely scrapped. Joyce was originally meant to go to the lab with Hopper as part of Eleven's group, but instead, she was sent into the abyss with the teens. In the final version, Joyce delivers the killing blow to Henry Creel. Multiple strikes, deliberate, symbolic. That choice wasn't random. Joyce was the emotional core of Season 1. Winona Ryder was the biggest name attached to the series when it began, but as the kids became global stars, especially Millie Brown Jr., the focus shifted. By Season 5, Joyce's role had been dramatically reduced. That final act was compensation, a symbolic reclaiming of her importance. And here's where things get even stranger. If you watch the stage play, Stranger Things: The First Shadow, you see a much deeper connection between Joyce and Henry, one the show never explains. The Duffers admitted they withheld this because the play is still running in theaters. That decision created a massive problem. The play contains essential backstory. Henry Creel attended school with the parents. Joyce knew him. She performed in a stage production with him. She even wields an axe, directly foreshadowing how she kills Vecna in the show. But none of this is explained on screen. Without that context, Joyce's actions feel confusing, arbitrary, symbolic without explanation. The Duffers admitted the original finale was nearly 3 hours long. That version may have fixed these gaps. It never saw the light of day. Another massive deleted scene involved a field of Demogorgon eggs, inspired directly from Alien. Entire creature ecosystems were planned, then removed due to fears of monster fatigue. The abyss was meant to feel alive. Instead, it feels empty. Holly Wheeler and the 12 abducted children were late additions. They were never meant to be part of Season 5. They were added to mirror the beginning of the series, a symbolic reset. That reset came at a cost. Holly ends up with more screen time than Will. The Duffers openly admit they mishandled Will after Season 2. Entire scenes involving him were cut for time that went to the younger kids instead. Vecna's fixation on Holly is explained by Jamie Campbell Bower himself. Holly resembles Henry Creel's younger sister, the one he killed. That trauma never left him. The 12 children weren't just batteries, they were companions. Henry wasn't creating an army, he was desperately trying to rewrite his past. And that's what makes Vecna tragic. He's not just destroying lives, he's desperately trying to rewrite his past. Production itself was chaos. Entire Abyss sets were built without knowing what scenes would take place inside them. Effects failed, scenes collapsed, directors adapted in real time. Even the opening of Season 5 was changed. Hopper's original all-hour montage was scrapped entirely. One detail most viewers missed. During her interviews, Millie Bobby Brown has a bloody nose and it never disappears. That was her choice, a quiet way of staying in character, a reminder that 11 never truly leaves the story. Millie knows the truth. She's sworn to secrecy. The Duffers' departure from Netflix was driven by creative limits. They wanted theatrical releases. Netflix refused. Spin-offs are coming. Prequels, mythology expansions, The Briefcase, The Rock, Project Rainbow. The story isn't over. And when you re-watch the finale closely, you can spot it. A figure running behind the truck. A visual payoff to Mike's explanation. A moment filmed intentionally. 11 survived. They just weren't ready to say it yet. And that changes everything. Once you strip away the marketing, the celebratory interviews, and the carefully worded press statements, one thing becomes painfully clear. Stranger Things Season 5 was not a clean creative victory. It was a survival exercise. What we watched was not the story the creators originally envisioned. It was the version that made it through chaos. By the time cameras were rolling, the ending was still fluid. Characters were alive on paper who would later die. Others were written out entirely. Emotional arcs were drafted, erased, then resurrected in altered forms. This wasn't indecision for the sake of mystery, it was damage control. The bonus episode exposes that fragility in ways the series itself never could. You see it in the way the writers speak cautiously, never finishing sentences. You see it in the way actors describe scenes that changed meaning without explaining how. You see it in the edits, hard cuts away from whiteboards, from script pages, from conversations that clearly ran longer than what we're allowed to hear. The most telling pattern is what isn't explained. Will's connection to the Mind Flayer is acknowledged, then abandoned. Joyce's presence in the final battle is emphasized, but never contextualized. Eleven's fate is visually teased, but verbally avoided. Vecna's psychology is deepened in interviews, yet simplified on screen. These are not accidents, these are seams. And once you see the seams, the entire season feels different. Scenes stop playing like conclusions and start playing like placeholders, moments designed to function whether the story truly ends or quietly continues later. This is especially noticeable in how the show handles aftermath. Stranger Things has always lingered on consequences. Deaths leave scars. Trauma reshapes characters. But Season 5 rushes past impact. The world resets unnaturally fast. Hawkins stabilizes too neatly. Relationships pause instead of resolve. That safety so many viewers felt isn't comfort, it's containment. The creators needed an ending that could be final, but didn't have to be. An ending that satisfied casual viewers while leaving enough ambiguity for future expansion, reinterpretation, or outright reversal. That's why ambiguity isn't sprinkled throughout the finale, it's structural. And that's also why the conformity gate theory exploded the way it did, not because fans wanted more content, but because the story itself refuses to sit still. It behaves like a memory under pressure, smooth on the surface, unstable underneath. The bonus episode doesn't debunk that feeling, it validates it. When the Duffers admit they were still debating core outcomes late into production, it reframes everything. When actors hint that they know more than they can say, it reinforces the idea that the story is being artificially restrained. When massive scenes, entire battles, entire emotional payoffs are revealed to have been cut, the finale starts to look less like an ending and more like a compromise. Even the production design tells this story. Entire environments were built without finalized scripts. The Abyss sets were constructed blind. Directors were forced to adapt scenes on the day. Visual effects were reworked to hide missing story beats. What should have been a carefully mapped descent into the heart of the mythology instead became a narrowing of scope. Not because the world wasn't big enough, but because the production couldn't support the weight of finality. And through all of this, one character remains deliberately unresolved: 11. Her fate is handled unlike any death in the series. No confirmation, no mourning period, no irreversible visual language. Instead, we get implication, motion, a final image designed to be read multiple ways. That isn't how Stranger Things kills characters. It's how Stranger Things pauses them. Behind the scenes, that pause makes perfect sense. 11 is not just a character, she's the spine of the franchise. Locking her fate would lock the future. Leaving her suspended preserves leverage. The bonus episode doesn't say this outright. It doesn't have to. The structure does the talking. And once you accept that the finale was engineered to remain flexible, the question stops being what happened and becomes why wasn't it allowed to happen clearly? That's the uncomfortable part, because it suggests that the story we watched was shaped as much by business, platform strategy, and future planning as it was by narrative truth. And that doesn't mean the ending is bad. It means it's unfinished by design. And when everything finally settles, when the noise fades, the theories cool down, and the credits roll for the last time, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Stranger Things did not end with certainty. It ended with restraint. What we were given was not the definitive version of the story. It was the version that survived deadlines, contracts, platform politics, creative compromise, and fear of finality. The finale wasn't written as a locked conclusion. It was assembled, negotiated, protected, carefully engineered to look complete while quietly remaining unfinished. That realization reframes everything. Every unanswered question stops feeling like a mistake. Every missing explanation stops feeling accidental. Every moment of emotional distance, every oddly safe beat, every character arc that feels paused instead of resolved, it all points to the same conclusion. This ending was not designed to end. It was designed to hold future possibilities, hold character fates in suspension, hold the audience in a state of unresolved tension. And that tension is the real legacy of Stranger Things. Because once you understand how much of this finale was rewritten, delayed, cut, or never filmed at all, the illusion breaks. You stop asking, why didn't they explain this? And start asking, what were they afraid to commit to? The show didn't run out of ideas. It ran into consequences. Committing to a final truth would have closed doors they weren't ready to close. So instead, they left breadcrumbs, visual language, subtext, symbolism, moments that only work if you're paying attention. That's why the ending feels calm when it shouldn't. That's why the danger feels distant when it should be overwhelming. That's why the story feels finished but not resolved. And that's where you come in. Because this story doesn't actually live on Netflix anymore. It lives in how it's interpreted, in the details people argue over, in the frames people rewind, in the moments that refuse to settle quietly. Every major shift in Stranger Things history came from fans noticing something first. Not the studio, not the press, not the creators, the fans. You noticed when Will was sidelined. You noticed when Joyce's role felt symbolic instead of earned. You noticed when Vecna's motivations felt deeper than the dialogue allowed. You noticed when the rules of the universe didn't fully add up. And most importantly, you noticed that 11's story didn't end the way deaths usually do in this universe. No confirmation, no mourning period, no irreversible visual language. Instead, we get implication, motion, a final image designed to be read multiple ways. That isn't how Stranger Things kills characters. It's how Stranger Things pauses them. Behind the scenes, that pause makes perfect sense. 11 is not just a character, she's the spine of the franchise. Locking her fate would lock the future. Leaving her suspended preserves leverage. The bonus episode doesn't say this outright. It doesn't have to. The structure does the talking. And once you accept that the finale was engineered to remain flexible, the question stops being what happened and becomes why wasn't it allowed to happen clearly? That's the uncomfortable part, because it suggests that the story we watched was shaped as much by business, platform strategy, and future planning as it was by narrative truth. And that doesn't mean the ending is bad. It means it's unfinished by design. And when everything finally settles, when the noise fades, the theories cool down, and the credits roll for the last time, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Stranger Things did not end with certainty. It ended with restraint. What we were given was not the definitive version of the story. It was the version that survived deadlines, contracts, platform politics, creative compromise, and fear of finality. The finale wasn't written as a locked conclusion. It was assembled, negotiated, protected, carefully engineered to look complete while quietly remaining unfinished. That realization reframes everything. Every unanswered question stops feeling like a mistake. Every missing explanation stops feeling accidental. Every moment of emotional distance, every oddly safe beat, every character arc that feels paused instead of resolved, it all points to the same conclusion. This ending was not designed to end. It was designed to hold future possibilities, hold character fates in suspension, hold the audience in a state of unresolved tension. And that tension is the real legacy of Stranger Things. Because once you understand